literally hundreds of people who've had to evacuate. There are 9 evacuations set up already in New South Wales, 7 on the mid-north coast and 2 in the Hunter region, so 9 evacuation centres already. The concerning aspect about the weather conditions we're experiencing is the last time we suffered major floods in New South Wales, the weather event passed within 2 or 3 days. Unfortunately, this will be a deep-seated extreme weather event. It's unlikely the rain will stop until towards the end of next week, so Thursday or Friday. Of course, we hope that those predictions are wrong, but the best predictions we have is this will be a prolonged weather event. And concerningly this morning, as many of you may be aware, in Chester Hill we also experienced an unexpected mini tornado which exacerbated the weather conditions which caused a lot of damage in that region. Also, as you're aware, the Warragamba Dam and the potential for spillover is also of concern, and I just received a briefing from our SES experts in relation to a potential for a 1 in 5, a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 20 event. So all 3 scenarios are being planned for. And with that, can I please say in particular at this stage to residents of the mid-north coast, residents of the Hunter and also residents of the Central Coast and in metropolitan Sydney and in the catchment of the Warragamba Dam, please be on high alert. There'll be reports we'll be receiving around this time and also at 6 p.m, which will determine which of those communities will need to be evacuated. So if you do live in any of the regions which we'll mention during this news conference, please be on high alert. Please keep monitoring the websites that are available, and please make sure that if you are asked to evacuate, you do so immediately. The window for evacuation is often not a big one, depending on where you live. And some communities already have been advised to stock up and to stay home within that window where they could potentially be cut off. So I hate to say this again to all of our citizens of this state, but it's not going to be an easy week for us. But I know that no matter what comes our way, we'll be able to deal with it. I want to thank Commissioner York and everybody in the SES who've already responded to 4,000 call-outs, 500 direct flood rescues. And I also want to thank all the agencies which are supporting the SES. New South Wales proudly works in a very coordinated way. I want to thank the RFS, Fire and Rescue, the police, and every other agency that stood up to support the SES. We're one team and it's all hands on deck. And I know that there are forces and resources ready on the ground. But regrettably, this will be a prolonged event and none of us are out of the woods. Whilst the storm front is moving south, it's still going to be prolonged and the rain may not stop till Thursday or Friday. And of course, we'll make sure that we provide as much information as possible to the community. But the most critical thing at this stage is to please respond to potential evacuation orders. The SES is doing their best to be able to predict what might happen in the next few hours. And of course, we want to avoid anybody having to be evacuated in the dark. It's much better for it to occur in daylight hours. And we just ask everybody to be alert and to listen to the various advice you're receiving. And for everybody else who isn't living in a directly impacted area, please don't move around unless you have to. Very dangerous conditions. Whatever you do, do not drive through those floodwaters. Make sure you put safety first. It is not a time to be out and about, unfortunately. So just ask everybody to be extra cautious and to make sure you're monitoring the evacuation orders, in particular if you live in those areas that we've been mentioning.